Yeah, so we're talking about price controls. Kevin, pay attention. All right, price controls. So what we're going to learn in this lesson, as I told you already, is that we're going to learn why apartments in major cities become dilapidated oftentimes and run down. And there's a reason why. There are economic principles behind it. So our example is going to be New York City apartments, and you can take this example to be in any major city. London, Chicago, that these events have happened. But what is the price equilibrium for, these are the number of apartment, this is the price of apartment units, this is the number of apartment units. What's the price and quantity equilibrium for apartments in New York City?
1,000.
Yeah, it's 1,000. This is US dollars, okay? So, now these are arbitrary numbers. I don't know, it's probably a lot more than that. You could be lucky to find an apartment for 1,000 in New York City. But let's say that there are, for $1,000, there are 10,000 apartments that are supplied in New York City. This is where equilibrium price and quantity and supply meet. Okay, so now all of a sudden I'm a politician and I want to get elected. And I'm talking about helping the poor, right? So I'm saying I believe that all people should be able to afford an apartment in New York City. I believe that the landlords are overcharging. That you guys are being cheated, and you vote for me, and I'm going to get you into an apartment. How many of you would vote for me? I mean, not you guys specifically, but if you're in, their situation, probably you'd be like raising your hand, and I get elected. So here's what I do. I come in, and we know that the equilibrium is here, but I come in and I tell the landlords, I say, look, can't charge more than $500 per apartment unit, right? So if I'm saying you can't charge more than $500, you can't charge more, is this a price ceiling or a price floor? You can't go above this. This would be a price ceiling. Okay, so the thing to remember about this is that price ceiling goes below the equilibrium, price floor goes above it, which seems like sort of reverse logic there. But here's where something interesting happens. What happens when the price goes down? What happens to the quantity demanded of apartments in New York City?
Goes up.
Why?
Because price went down.
Because it's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what is the demand here? So here, we have a demand equals 11,000 units. All right, now quite interesting what happens with supply here. Supply decreases. Why does supply decrease? Because if you're a landlord, are you going to be all excited about renting more of your space out at a lower price? Yay, I'm going to make less money? Not really, right? Okay. So you have supply at what? 10,000 roughly? All right. So what kind of condition do we have where demand is greater than supply?
Shortage.
That's a shortage. By how many apartments?
1,000.
1,000. Right. So this area right here is a shortage. So what the government officials have created is they've created a shortage of apartments. Now what do you think is going to happen? Probably,
Black market.
well, that could happen, but let's assume that the black market doesn't happen. All right, so what's going to happen, though, is that you have this greater demand. Everybody wants to live in New York City. So Kevin is going to invite his cousin, his uncle, and his sister. She doesn't have a job. She's not married. She's got to stay with you, too. They're going to all move in with you. Oh, by the way, your sister has a 3-year-old kid, and her husband left her. So they're all moving in, and she can't find a job because she has to take care of her sister, and child care is too expensive, right? It's too expensive. All right. So before you know it, and these are unfortunate circumstances. You have a house full of people, and then your second cousin calls you and says, "Hey, man, I got problems too." So they're all moving in, and you think you got a pretty good deal here because you're rolling high. You're living in New York City. You're only paying $500 a month. Now you can sort of pass on. You can share some with your cousins and your brothers if they have a job, right? These are real problems. So before you know it, you have probably a 2- and 3-year-old kid running around. You have a sister or cousin, whoever they're living. So you have overcrowding. So an apartment that has maybe 2 rooms, maybe Esther, have like 10 people in your apartment, right? Now my question is, what? Of course. So the question is, what do you think? Do you think that those people are going to take really good care of their apartment, keep it painted? No, they're not. They're going to let it get dilapidated. Their kids are going to be painting on the wall. Why is it that my house that I own in Houston, Texas, why is it that my house is much better taken care of, or anybody that is a house owner or apartment owner, why is it that their place is better taken care of than a renter in a low-income situation like this is? Why is this place ill taken care of? What's the difference?
You just care about those.
Yeah, but why do I care more about my property and keeping my roof fixed, keeping it looking nice, even though they do? Huh?
Cost you more.
Yeah, because I don't want to, it's going to cost me more, but what's another reason? Do they own their apartment?
No, it's yours, yeah.
It's mine. I own it. I'm concerned about the value in my real estate area, right? The value of my property, is it going to go, I want it to be stable or up, right? So, this is a problem. Now, look at it from the perspective of if you're a landlord. If you're a landlord, are you going to be all excited about, renting more of your properties to more people? Yay, I'm getting half of what I got before. I'm so excited about renting out. Are you going to do that? Why, Kevin? Why? Paul, you're laughing. Why wouldn't you want to rent more out?
I'm not renting much.
Huh?
No,
I know you're not renting them out in the real world, but let's assume that you are. Why would you not want to rent and get half of what you're supposed to get?
Why would I want to get half of it?
Exactly. You're going to be losing money, right? So what happens to supply? Supply decreases, obviously, right? Okay. Now you can compound this situation. You can compound this situation where if there are certain loopholes, landlords are going to look. They might have, like, for example, if they can convert this into real estate, commercial real estate, then they don't have to worry about these price ceilings. So what in essence they do is they'll be taking more property off the market for the demand, and that compounds the demand. Then you have a really big problem of a shortage, all because a leader is coming out and speaking in favor of the people, right? It sounds good, but you have to be careful of demagoguery and watch it, right? Okay, fine. That very simply is this concept. So, real quickly, I'm going to show you. Keep going. I'm going to show you a real quick video here of a real-world situation in which this happens, and then I'm going to kind of quiz you. All right. So, in the real world, can you think of some examples, some other examples where government forces producers to produce below cost, and therefore they stop producing? We got a really fine example here. Can you think of a leader in South America, maybe that's... did I turn it on?
Yeah. It's on. It's on.
You did.
All right.
You had to erase those.
So, we need to erase that real quick. Get over here. All right, so can somebody... I'll hit the lights. All right, so... yeah, go ahead and hit the lights. So here's the example. Let's take a look at this. And then we're going to kind of discuss the key interests that are involved here.
Oh.
Like gold dust in Venezuela's supermarkets. You may be surprised to hear it's actually toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Recently, people in this oil-rich nation have been struggling to find the basic goods such as milk, butter, and coffee on shelves. And toilet paper is now at the top of many.
Here's the question. Why are people loading up with all that toilet paper?
Maybe it's cheap.
It's cheap. Yeah, they're overusing it. And that's compounding what problem?
Surplus.
Surplus. There's too much of it or there's too little of it? There's a shortage of it here. And watch. Yeah.
People's shopping lists.
We've always been a rich country. We've never had to go through this. It's the first time in Venezuelan history that we're in this situation. It's shameful. It's a very sad situation, all of us fighting for products that should be at everyone's reach, that are basic for a country as rich as this one.
According to some economists, the shortages are due to the socialist government's price control policies. Venezuelan authorities have been trying to keep prices low in order to help the least privileged in society amid growing inflation. However, this has not been sustainable as the majority of these products are imported and their prices are subject to state-controlled exchange rates.
They've done industry in, and now we have to import. It is our economy to do industry. Have us all import, and they all get rich.
Okay, who is that lady blaming for the shortage? She said they're all getting rich. Who's she talking about? Huh?
The producers?
The producers, yeah. But what is the problem? If the government, what is the government doing with the cost of toilet paper? What do you think they're telling the companies? What do you think they're telling the companies? Like, what are they doing with the price? What kind of price control are they putting, imposing on the companies here? Are they telling them? They're putting a price in. They're telling them that they can only produce, they can produce below equilibrium, right? So, if the cost of a product is, if it costs you, let's say, 25 cents to make one roll of toilet paper, and you are selling it for 20 cents, are you making money? No. You're not making money, right? You're losing money. So why would you want to keep producing? So this is a situation that happens. Toilet paper producers aren't making toilet paper anymore. So basically, Venezuelans are having to import toilet paper. The government's having to pay for it. There's this massive shortage of toilet paper because they're forcing the businesses to sell it below their cost. And then who is the lady blaming? She's blaming the rich businesses for taking advantage, right? When the reality is, you know, according to economic principles, it looks quite different, right? And so this in turn, if the government's saying the same thing, we're talking about Venezuela, this would give the government then an excuse to do what with these local companies that are producing toilet paper? What would the government do? What's their agenda, maybe? Who's the stakeholder? Government's a stakeholder. What is their agenda with regards to private enterprise?
Tax. Keep it going.
No, they're putting them out of business. But so what's their ultimate goal? They don't want toilet paper, or is there something else that's on the agenda, maybe? Who owns the factors of production in socialism? Government. This would give them an excuse to take control of the company, right?
Oh.
And then what's going to happen to the quality likely? It's going to be like not good toilet paper, right? So let's finish watching this here.